What's going on YouTube? It's Beltzor3457, and first off, this probably only works on PC and not on console. It might work on console, but this is recorded on PC, so heads up. I plan to upload the video about my hospital stay by now. This is not that video, but I recognized the date and figured I should do at least something for the holidays, so I decided to make a tutorial for how to get lots of points to get the unlocks for jets and helicopters in Battlefield 3. Now, why am I making this video? Well, when I was discharged from the hospital, I thought, I'm sure plenty of people have done this already. There's probably several guides on how to quickly get the helicopter and jet unlocks. So I did some YouTube searches and I didn't find as many as I expected to. Helicopters and jets are often considered the most difficult vehicles to get unlocks for, not only because they're rare and difficult to obtain, but also because they require more experience to control and use properly. Half the time the first person to jump into the helicopter and pilot it will crash it right into the side of a building. We've all seen it happen. The thing is, back in, Battlefield 1942, you had single-player versions of the maps that let you learn how to fly the planes and practice with them and stuff. And nowadays, you don't really have that in Battlefield 3. Not only that, but vehicle unlocks for aircraft are so essential and game-changing that you're pretty much considered a douchebag if you get into a jet or helicopter gunship without having several unlocks already. Basically, if you hop into a helicopter gunship and are trying to learn it for the first time in a full game, odds are you'll hinder your team and possibly cause a loss. Especially on maps like Sharkey Peninsula, where there's only one helicopter gunship as each team's air power. People expect you to have unlocks already, and you bring your team down significantly by not having them. And will probably have people yell at you if you're learning to fly and crash. And they'd be right, because you're bringing your team down by doing that. Just by not having some of the earlier unlocks, you're bringing the team down. Back in Battlefield 2, I would have called it boosting, but nowadays it seems that you're a D-bag if you don't go off alone, at least for the first while, to learn to fly and get flares and such, and that just seems to be the situation that EA and DICE have manufactured. So me and a friend decided to go to a low-population server and fight a bit to practice flying. Eventually my friend had to go, but I didn't want to leave the game because I had already earned a couple of unlocks and I didn't want to lose the points that I had earned. This was on Wake Island, so I decided to capture all the flags to make the round end faster. At that point, I noticed something. You can capture flags of vehicles and get points for them. And not just flags, but pretty much any points obtained while in a vehicle count towards the vehicle. Rush mode, for example. I planted 2 MCOMs, hopped into an APC, and when they both went off, I got 1,000 points to my APC and got an unlock for it. For example, say you're playing Wake Island Rush. If you land the helicopter, plant 2 MCOMs, and get back in the helicopter, when both MCOMs explode, your 1,000 MCOM points will contribute to helicopter unlocks. Now, neutralizing and capturing a flag is 450 points. So I got to thinking, what's the best way to get some fast, easy jet and helicopter unlocks, so you don't have to be a dick and screw over your team if you decide you want to fly in a full match Battlefield 3. My choice map for this is 64-player Conquest Wake Island. This guide is to address both helicopter unlocks as well as jet unlocks. I figured I should make it that way since most people seem to need both. If you're on an empty server that will start with 1 player, and I can only assume that this is intentional because servers have a tool that allows them to bind and change the minimum player count, the smoothest routine I found is as follows. First, why Wake Island 64-player Conquest? Well, Battlefield 3 seems to have some problems recording your stats if you leave before a round completes, and it might be hard to drain a game of 300 to 900 death tickets if you're off on your lonesome. On a 64-player Conquest for Wake Island, you can drain that ticket count rapidly if you capture all the defending team bases, forcing the game to end in a few seconds. Since it's a Conquest Assault map instead of a Conquest Head-On map, it allows you to end the game faster once you've got all the points you need. My recommended rotation is to spawn on the attacking team at the start of the match and use the Harriers for jet points. Capture everything except the airfield and then switch teams and use the helicopter gunship to recapture them for gunship points. Now, why this rotation? Well, the jets in this game are not statistically even. The Russian jets are dogfighting air-to-air jets, and the F-35 Harriers are air-to-ground jets. Because of this, the F-35 is capable of vertical takeoff. And this is very important if you would like to use it to capture numerous flags. The Russian team jets cannot do this, nor can it land as smoothly or safely. But the helicopters in both teams are pretty much the same. So if you need both jet and helicopter points, the optimal thing to do is capture flags with a jet on the USA team, and recapture them with a helicopter on the Russian team, and simply alternate until you have what you need. Remember, you only need to be in the vehicle when you are receiving your points. For jets, it's best to fly it close, eject, repair the jet, and re-enter the jet right as the flag is about to capture. These points will still all contribute to the jet unlocks. That's about it. I'm still in recovery after being discharged from the hospital, but I just wanted to do something special for the holidays, so I figured I'd make this video. Merry Christmas, everyone.